One of the things I'd love to ask you about is, and I know you've done some research on this and read some studies. What are some of the best herbs, vitamins, supplements, foods, things that people can do to optimize their neurological health and memory and focus?
Yeah, so I mentioned there are 10 levers that really can move the needle for that two-thirds to improve your brain health and performance. One of them is a good brain diet. So the whole area of science called neuronutrition. And your brain is only 2% of your body mass, but it actually requires 20% of the nutrients, the energy. It's an energy hog, right? And while your brain is part of your body, it also requires different nutrients than the rest of your body. And I always prefer people get it from foods, good whole foods, local, organic, as best as clean as you could do. But if we don't get it from our diet, then you could supplement it, obviously also as well. So some of my favorite brain foods, and I'll show people how to remember it. Have you ever gone to the store, the market, and you go to buy like one thing and you come back with maybe a bag or two, and when you're home, you realize that you forgot that one thing.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, many
So this
times.
would be a good memory exercise. One of my beliefs is that there's no such thing as a good or bad memory. There's a trained memory and an untrained memory, right? And we need to exercise our memory. So it's a wonderful opportunity to take the stairs, right? To do the mental
Yeah.
calisthenics, to memorize a list. So, I'll give everyone like 10 of my favorite brain foods, and then we could talk about supplements. And just to remember it, I mentioned I wrote the memory chapter in Greece. There's a ancient memory technique, 2,500 years old, where they would remember, like orators remember their speeches or poetry based on placing information around locations they're very familiar with, like their home, right? And people
Mm.
could do this in their home, in their office, their school, the local mall. And you're taking like 10 places that you're very familiar with and putting the 10 things you want to remember in those places using your imagination and emotion. So, for example, maybe everyone can do this. You could do this with me.
Yeah.
So, everyone, touch the top of your head right now and say top. And
Top.
that's your verbal memory, top. And we're going to just take 10 places on your body. Second place is your nose. So you say nose for your
Nice.
verbal memory. Third place, just going down your face, mouth. Fourth,
Nice.
let's go to the side. Touch everyone listening, go touch your ears,
Yes.
your ears. And five is your throat. All right. So we're exercising our memory, even doing this. So we're not just hearing about it, we're doing it. Six are your shoulders. Everyone touch your shoulders and say shoulders.
Shoulders.
Seven is your collarbone, your collar.
Collar.
Eight, just wiggle your fingers. If you're not watching this on video, I'm just wiggling my fingers. Eight is fingers. Nine is your belly. And then let's say 10 is your bottom. All right. So that's 10 places. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you 10 of my favorite foods to boost your brain health. The first, and we're going to put it in those 10 places, are avocados, right? The monounsaturated fat's good for the brain. Your brain's mostly fat. So just imagine avocados, using it as a hair or scalp conditioner. You're
Mm.
putting guacamole on your head, and it would never happen, right? But because you could not just hear it, you could see it and kind of feel it. It becomes, you're using more of your nervous system to memorize it. And just very quickly, the second place is your nose, right? And the second brain food are blueberries. Berries are incredibly neuroprotective, right? High in antioxidants. So I call them brain berries, but imagine blueberries coming out of your nose. What does that
Mm.
smell like? Use all your senses. What does that feel like? If you ever saw somebody and their blueberries were coming out of the nose, you would never forget that. The
Yeah.
third place on your body, everyone, was your mouth. And I like broccoli as a brain food. Yeah, imagine broccoli stuck in your teeth. Now, everyone's bio-individual, has different food sensitivities, and so keep that in mind. You could do a microbiome test and a nutrient profile. But imagine a big stalk of broccoli stuck in your teeth. Right, the sulforaphane is good for, especially when it's sprouted, is good for cognitive health.
Mm.
So you taste the broccoli in your teeth. All right. All right. The fourth place was our ears. So everyone touch your ears. Fourth brain food, olive oil. So just imagine you're cleaning your ears with olive oil, or you have olive earrings, right? There's limitless examples. And if you can't imagine it, just imagine you can imagine it. All right. Five was your throat, and eggs. If your diet allows the choline in eggs, precursor to acetylcholine, which is good for cognitive health, imagine a hard-boiled egg in your throat.
Mm.
All right. It's just kind of stuck there. Six are your shoulders. I'm a fan of green leafy vegetables. And again, some people can't readily digest it as easily, but just imagine shoulder pads made out of kale and spinach. You look to your left and you look to your right. You have shoulder pads made of kale and spinach. All right, 7 is your collar. And let's talk about salmon or sardines, right? The fatty fishes that are high in omega-3s, your DHAs, maybe wild-caught salmon. Maybe you have a necklace made out of salmon sushi, and maybe make it like a week old. So you really use more of your senses. What does that smell like? What does that feel like? Imagine a necklace made out of salmon sushi. All right, we're almost done. 8th place are your fingers. So wiggle your fingers. 8th brain food, turmeric. And so just imagine that golden powder all over your fingers. You just can't get rid of it. It's all over your fingernails, your cuticles. The curcumin is the active ingredient in turmeric. It can be very anti-inflammatory. 9 is your belly. Good snack food that I love are walnuts. So imagine eating walnuts out of your belly button. Walnuts are high in vitamin E, neuroprotective, but walnuts coming out of your belly button, you're eating them, something silly like that. And then finally, the 10th place is your bottom. Everyone touch your bottom. And 10th brain food, dark chocolate. I don't even need to hear what people are saying or seeing back there. But dark chocolate, not milk chocolate. Generally what's good for your mood tends to be good for your mind.
Yeah.
So now, so imagine we're going to have a limitless brain cocktail party. Josh calls you up and says, hey, while you're out, can you just stop by the market, the health food store, just pick up these 10 quick things. And you're like, oh, I'm driving, I can't write it down. Or you're in the shower, or when you have these ideas, you can never write them down, right? I don't know why you pick up the phone in the shower. But now you just walk in the aisles and you have your grocery list because it's on your body. So on top of your head, you have the first brain food, which is what? The avocados. Right?
I want to prove that I can do this now, quick, Jim, because this was amazing. Yeah. I mean, this was fantastic. So we've got avocados here. I remember that because that's what we're scrubbing into our head. I know we've got the nose. So we got blueberries. I imagine blueberries coming out of the nose. We got mouth because broccoli is stuck in your teeth. We got olives. I remember that because actually there's a lot of remedies that I have people do with olive oil and garlic oil and that sort of thing as the base. And then we're going down to the throat. And that's where an egg is caught, in the throat. The next is the shoulder pads we talked about kale and spinach, the greens there. We talked about the collar, which was salmon.
Yeah.
that had been there.
Very good.
And then we went down to the hands. We talked about turmeric. By the way, I've had this happen plenty of times. I use turmeric a lot. So I've had the orange or yellow stain of that curcumin on my hands. The next we have belly button, which is walnut. We talked about there, right? And then we talked about the butt, the glutes there, the behind for dark chocolate. So, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, it really is such a great tool to learn fast.
And people could use this anywhere. They could use their body list every day and reuse it. You could use their home and go in the kitchen and say, okay, the microwave is the first place, the stovetop is the second, refrigerator, just go clockwise. The refrigerator is my third place, the dishwasher is the fourth, and the sink is the fifth. Wow, and people could use this to even memorize the speech. I work with a lot of actors or TED speakers and teaching them the key points. And a lot of people have a fear of public speaking, and where that fear stems from is like, I'm going to forget what I have to say, or somebody's asked me a question, I'm going to go answer it, and I'm not going to remember where I was. But here you just walk around your home or your office or the mall, and you can make these, there's no limit to the amount of locations you could use. And just using this principle of PIE, P-I-E, you have a P stands for place. Map out your places. The I is imagine. Imagine what you want to remember as a picture, because we'll remember it better, like with faces. And then the E is entwine. Entwine is just you're putting the two things together. And what are you putting together? You're putting that image with the place. And that's a wonderful shortcut, because most people, what's the alternative? They would have to repeat it over and over and over again. Yeah. Right. And that takes a lot of time, and it's pretty boring, and so. Yeah, it's just one key to be able to do it. So these are some of my favorite brain foods. Now, if you're not getting this in your diet, then maybe you need to start with supplements. Then we could talk about, nootropics.
What are a few of your favorites? If maybe pick 3 or 4 or 5. Now, if you have an acronym, go with whatever it is. But I would say that a few of those.
Yeah, for supplementation, and we could talk about nootropics. Like if you're not getting the choline in eggs, you could supplement with choline, right? If you're not getting the eating the flax or the fish, you could supplement with omega-3 fatty acids. So all the vitamins, the B vitamins are very important for your brain. Magnesium, every physiological function relies on magnesium. But when we're going into nootropics or nootropics, that was a new chapter in the book. And I put everything at brainnutrition.com. I put and I link everything to human studies. And again, I'm not a medical doctor or a nutritionist, but it's just been my experience. You take care of the hardware, right? What you eat matters, especially for your gray matter. The nootropics are more, I would define them as more substances that can enhance your cognitive function,
Yeah.
particularly your executive functioning, your memory, your creativity, your motivation. So in no particular orders, ashwagandha, all right, it's an adaptogenic herb. It improves mental and physical resilience. It may help reduce stress and anxiety because chronic stress will shrink the brain, right? You're in fight or flight, holds you hostage in your survival brain. But, you can't get to your executive function, your problem solving, those kind of areas. I talk about in the book whole coffee fruit extract. Now, this is the whole fruit from the coffee plant that's usually the byproduct that's usually discarded, but it could be a strong antioxidant and have a positive impact on your cognitive function. Phosphatidylserine is a phospholipid that is an integral part to your brain cell, the membrane. Has shown to improve memory, learning, cognitive function. L-theanine, it's amino acid. It's often found, as I'm drinking here, green tea. It's a popular nootropic or nootropic. It helps promotes relaxation without the drowsiness, and it can enhance brain function. Another favorite is bacopa. It's an herb used in Ayurvedic medicine. It can improve cognition, memory. Rhodiola is another one. Scandinavian herb has been shown to reduce mental fatigue, improve cognitive function. One of my favorites go-to is something that's used a lot for people who exercise is creatine.
Mm.
It's a naturally produced in our bodies. It's found predominantly in like meat and fish. But if that's not part of your diet, you can supplement with it. It plays a crucial role in energy metabolism. There are a number of studies that have shown that creatine supplementation, like maybe like you're doing 5 grams or whatever, could help improve cognitive function, especially in tasks that require short-term memory and quick thinking. And it's also great for energy, right? Not just your body energy, but obviously your brain's part of your body also as well. We could go on and on. Curcumin we mentioned as part of turmeric, which helps as anti-inflammatory. Lion's mane mushroom is a unique nootropic. It has strong neuroprotective effects. Research has shown it helps to stimulate the synthesis of something called nerve growth factor, which can enhance cognition by reducing local inflammation, and promoting overall brain health. Ginkgo biloba for blood flow. I mean, we put all of them there. Again, we put a list at brainnutrition.com in terms of what I'm currently excited about, and link to all the studies, and people could check out more there, or it's definitely heavily researched, cited in the book.